I don't normally have guests, but we got some kick-ass guests tonight. And let me see what I've done wrong. Why is this not working? I saw somebody. There we go. I mean, it's not perfect, but hopefully you guys can see my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
Let me see. Could people on YouTube see my screen?
I don't know. I've got adverts at the moment. I'll tell you.
Okay. We will know in 1 second. This is going to be the most unprofessional stream I've ever done. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm watching the Domino's Pizza advert at the moment. Oh,
I can see the list, the army listing. I can't see Warhammer on there. Oh, I can see it now. It's just laggy by 5 seconds as usual.
Yeah, the stream will be a little bit behind. Okay, cool.
So what we can't see on YouTube is we can't see the comments that Reziel's posting.
Yeah, I don't have any nice way of showing you guys the comments.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'll put the chat up here on...
Yeah, that's what I've just done. I've just separated the chat out from the stream.
Yeah.
Brilliant, okay. Yeah, so I've got Best Ghost Parents here. I mean, I guess if you guys have Best Ghost Parents, you can log in. And I'm not putting my light on in this room because I have such a headache, so... I mean...
Well, I told you you shouldn't drink too heavily when you're gaming that much. Right?
I didn't drink at all, man. I had to play fucking Admech and Orcs. That gives me a headache.
Yeah, maybe you should have been drinking.
Yeah, the Scutari Rangers doing like 57 shots with auto wounds on 5s and 6s from about 30-something inches away. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, we beat the Tau player. That was my comfortable win. The Admech win was not comfortable. Yeah, it just didn't feel comfortable just because, Admech, they do so much damage. And the Orc win was so it was an Orc player playing a Speedwag list, but it wasn't like Andrew's where it was one-dimensional. It had like more different bikes and jets, and also like the Orc squigs, the stupid squigs that do mortal wounds, and then the toughness the toughness 7 Orc with 9 wounds that gets to reroll all the attacks even when he misses. So he gets like 11 attacks, and every time he doesn't make a wound, he gets to roll all the attacks again. Have you played that Orc yet?
Were any of these a massive challenge for you at this point, or did you basically know what you were facing, what you were doing, how to react to it, how to play against them?
I knew if I hadn't played against Andrew's Orcs 3 times, I'd have lost that game. I deployed the same way I did, like everything right at the back of the board. Terminators off the board for deep striking, and basically the Terminators just came in and just sat middle on Oath of Moment. I just dropped them in the middle pretty much and just scored my points because, it was tough. I'm going to do a video on all of it. I took a bunch of photos, but I guess in the Orc game and the Admech game, when it get like really close, I started not taking photos and not thinking, just because I was just thinking on like, I need to fucking win this game.
How did the Farsight kind of like Crisis Suit bomb do?
It was horrific. Yeah, it was absolutely horrific. The guy fucked up.
It on paper.
He put them too close to a piece of obscuring terrain, so I jumped the Sanguinary Guard into the obscuring terrain and charged him from an obscuring position. He still got to shoot me with all the frag burster indirect fire stuff, but it saved me against everything else, and I couldn't get to his battlesuits, and he rolled hot with them all game. The broadsides.
Is that easy, possible, practical?
Is it easy, reasonably, but I mean, I want to talk about this list here in a sec.
Okay, fair enough. Is that what you're going to be facing for Game 4?
Yeah, I want to talk about it. We can go over the other lists, and if you guys want to join me in a video, what I want to do is I want to win this next game because I'm on table 2. So if I win on table 2, does that not put me on table 1 for the final game of the tournament?
If you're 4-0, then almost
probably.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah. So I have
how many people total? Is it
30? I think. I think the minimum number for the GT.
34 people.
I think, 30, 34, something like that. The hall looked pretty full. I know that Gav on table 3 has got a loss, and Johnson Jr.'s got a loss. Yeah, so I guess the only other people who are 3-0 are these 4 top people. So
enough.
if I win this game, then I'm playing either the winner of these two on table 1, I guess.
Yeah, which makes sense. So you can have a look at all three of these lists. If you
Yeah.
like.
I want to start with Jonathan Gotel because this is AdMech. No, this is not AdMech. This is...
Is this the Scions list?
Yes. Astra Militarum, and
So he's got an assassin.
I know very little about this. Has he got an assassin? Oh, yeah, maybe. I guess we'll see. A Tempest or Prime, 2x2. Then it's like Militarum
Scions.
Tempest Scions times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They all have hot shot lasguns. Each squad has
the plasma guns that are going to be the danger.
2 plasma guns, and the main guy has the plasma pistol. Okay.
So they'll be looking to drop in and rapid fire you within 12 inches.
Can these things deep strike, can they?
Yep.
And what's the rule behind them deep striking? Is there any, or are they just deep strike?
Your standard Scions.
What's the Lambton Lions rule, Rez? If you can type it out quickly, we'll look it up in a sec.
Do what, sorry?
The Lambton Lions.
So I imagine it's a faction ability.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just standard deep strike. So all of their troops, all those Scions units have got deep strike. So you can choose. You can just stick them in those Tauroxes and run them around like mad things because they've got 14-inch move, or you can just deep strike them.
Oh, I see. Reroll 1, so he's going to overcharge with his plasmas and
and try and blow you away.
Reroll 1s.
That's what that
It's up in the top left there.
yeah, reroll 1.
Got to be within 6 inches of the Warlord though, so
okay. And I guess he can also give them a 5-up in Von if they're within 6 inches. If he's got the refractor fuel generator, does he have this?
To Wahapedia indeed, Rez. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so the Warlord's got giving a 5-up in Von in a bubble, and I guess reroll 1s.
Is he the actual Warlord? Does it specify that?
Well, I mean, it'll just be a relic.
It doesn't specify he's the Warlord. That's weird.
You don't have to be the Warlord to take a relic.
Yeah, but you do to give the buff for the reroll 1s to hit, so it makes sense if you're having one guy buffing as many people as you can. Does it specify a different
I am not familiar with that. And thank you so much for the $5. Will Space Marines Codex 2.0 last edition next year, or is GW going to hold off until next edition?
Fuck knows.
I hope they do hold off, to be honest, because there's so many factions that are so desperate for a codex. I mean, ours is crap, but at least we got one.
Whirlwind's worth it. You must be new to this channel. Yeah, we sing the praises of Whirlwind.
No, it's just any Warlord trait, right? So it's just a Warlord trait. So he's re-rolling 1s. He's got a 5+ bubble around this first Tempest Prion.
Oh, okay. So it's not Warlord trait. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. I mean, my Whirlwind does work for me every game, and the Dreadnoughts did well again today. So, I'll do a video on this tournament list. I really want to win this tournament. What does this command rod do? A Tempest model may use their Voice of a Command ability twice each turn.
What does Voice of Command do? Let's have a look at that. Oh, so it's orders.
That's giving
enough.
orders, yeah.
Okay, so you can give orders to multiple units. You can do reroll 1s, reroll wounds. This unit can shoot even if it advanced. So loads of different orders. I'm not going to be able to read all the orders, I guess.
Personally, Jaeger, I'm expecting Codex Space Marines 9th edition version 2 at the end of next year. That's just my expectation based on previous precedent.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of 6 months behind with 9th edition, so they'll probably be a while. Militarum Tempest Command Squads with melta guns, and I guess
Plasma guns.
No, he's got 2 squads with melta guns as well.
Oh, I missed those. Okay. Oh, quad melter. Okay. Yeah, all right. Tauroxes, so he's got a lot of transport and protection for them.
They're fast, and he's got a lot. This is just a pure glass cannon. The only thing he's got here with any durability, really, is those Bullgrin. Maybe the Crusaders, but the Crusaders are still fairly sort of weak.
Okay, and then he's got the 5 Turox Primes with Gatling cannons and hot shot volley guns.
If he's planning on deep striking them, why has he got so many transports? That's curious.
Because they're cheap and you can stick them on an objective, and they've got quite a bit of firepower for their coins.
Maybe
6 wounds. Sorry,
he's got that choice now, hasn't he?
Wounds. Yeah, and the Gatling cannons are heavy 20. Okay.
He can just do things like charging them in, because he doesn't really care if you kill it. As long as it ties you up for a turn.
do them 5 wounds and they go down to ballistic skill 4 up. Yeah.
Improve the armor penetration characteristics of models with this doctrine by 1. So, prized weaponry.
Their standard las guns are AP -3.
Yeah, so these get...
There's the warlord. There's a commissar down there. That makes sense.
Okay. And he's got warlord trait grand strategist. I don't know what that is. Where was the... Whilst your warlord is alive, you can reroll a single hit, wound, roll, or saving throw
per battle. Per turn.
It's just
No, this guy's got it per battle. He gets some CP back. That's better than a kick in the cock.
Alright, so on a 5+, he's refunding his CP.
Got to be on the battlefield, though, so he can't be in a transport and he can't be off board.
Okay.
He can't deep strike anyway. He's got to be in a... He's got to be in a
I
transport.
was going to say, these Tempesters are what? They're not tough to kill, surely. 4 wounds and a 4-up save. So I mean, if I can ever get close to the Tempesters, I can just murder them. They're not strong at all, are they?
No. There's almost nothing in this army that's strong. He's just got so much board control from the sheer number of units he's got and light, quick vehicles. He's going to be able to stick things on every objective turn 1.
He'll have to
spend the rest of the day.
He'll have to play massively defensively, because if you get turn 1 and do a turn 1 charge on him, that risks wiping him out utterly. So he's going to have to be uber defensive in order to try and have something left to survive.
None of this stuff is good in combat, is it?
No. The best thing he's got are the Bulgrin and the Crusaders, but they're not good in combat. They're just all right in combat. The Bulgrin just don't die. You'll be there forever trying to chew for them. Will they?
Why do they not die?
Well, not necessarily forever, but they're tougher than your average guard. Put it that way.
T5.
It's the shields that do it.
4-up in van.
4-up in van. I do have Null Zone in this list.
What's he equipped his Bulgrins with? Do you want to just go back?
So he's done a mixture, which is what I'd do as well, to be honest. He's got a couple with slab shields for the 2-ups, and a couple with brute shields.
For the invans, so he can take saves on whatever he needs to at the time. Makes sense.
But they've all got Bulgrin mauls, so they're all going to be smacking you at strength 7 back.
Toughness 5 doesn't really make that much difference to you, really.
No, I mean...
And you can chew through 3 wounds with relative ease.
I think a single Sanguinary Guard charge takes this unit out, to be honest. Or a single Terminator charge will take the unit out as well.
Depends if he gets lucky with the invans or not.
I think in this... I think against this list, I may actually want to keep my Terminators on the board, so that if he does drop down, I can Auspex scan them.
The other thing you've got to worry about is if he can spread right out, and you might have trouble bringing any deep strikers in.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've started 2 games with the Terminators off the board, but Auspex scans with the Bolters is actually going to rip through these things, right?
Yeah.
Potentially, they've all got a 4-up save.
Valkyries may well be able to be taken in the unit, but the balance update specified aircraft models per 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 points. So, yeah.
So you got
2 aircraft.
They got a 4-up save, they're only toughness 3, though.
Yeah.
So 16 bolter shots.
You can hit with 2/3. So you're going to hit, 13 or 14 times.
So
you're going to wound with 2/3 again. So you're going to get about 9 wounds. He's going to save about half of those. You're going to kill 4, maybe 5.
We've ignored the key question at this point. What's your terrain been like, John?
I've seen the board that we're playing on tomorrow. It's quite a foresty board, so there's not a lot of cover you can hide inside. I mean, there's cover you can hide behind to there's a few pieces of obscuring cover, but there's no ruins or anything that you could sit units inside.
That's going to be dangerous then. Sorry, Rez, I must have misread what you typed. Apologies.
So, hold on. You paid the 2 CP for the assassin, right? Did he? I didn't see an assassin.
He's factored it in. He's just paid 100 points, so he's going to choose it. It's not in his force. He's just going to choose whatever assassin is in there based on what he comes to you with, or what you come to the table with.
Well, he can't do that. He's got to pick one and then swap it.
He's already factored in paying the 2 CP. He's already assuming he's going to swap it.
Yeah. So he's just going to pick an assassin before every game.
It just means he misses out on not paying the 2 CP.
Yeah, potentially getting it for free, I guess.
It might be a rules pack thing. I don't know. It might be an FAQ. Not sure.
Don't know. I haven't seen that before.
Okay, so some of these things you've got to write them on your roster ahead of time if you're planning on spending CP pre-setup, and that could be one of them depending on the rules pack.
So his plasma guns are 24 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Will you have to stand still to rapid fire them?
No.
Because
you don't need to stand still to rapid fire.
Oh, but you won't be able to rapid fire at
you
half
can rapid
range.
Fire at 12.
Yeah, at 12.
You won't be able to rapid fire at 24 now.
Okay.
This list is all about dropping in and wiping out what it drops in next to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because if he drops a couple of those squads in, he's going to get so much firepower on it that he can often kill the thing that he's shooting at.
If I screen the dreadnoughts, though, with the Terminators, for example, and the Sanguinary Guard, then you'll never be able to drop in against them without me Auspex scanning them.
Indeed. Another argument could be if you go second and you've reserved a ton of stuff, then he's got to drop all of his stuff in before you drop all of your stuff in.
It's very true as well, isn't it? So maybe I keep my strategy where I keep the Terminators off the board. I mean, when the Terminators land, their bolters are going to chew through a whole unit easily.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely.
And then they can charge another unit. So the Terminators can tow 2 units fairly easily, I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
If it was me playing this, I'd be taking all of those little squads off the board to drop in, or the majority, and I'd leave all the tanks and all the other stuff, and just park them on all the objectives that I could get away with, and then be dropping in a couple of squads here and there against things, to try and bait you out. That's how I'd play it.
So these Thorax Primes have no invulnerable save, I guess, unless they're near their commander guy.
No.
Does their commander guy's refractor field?
I don't know. What does it say?
Refractor field, what was it?
Models. Yeah.
So he could give a 5-up. However, these things don't look like they'd be that difficult for me to kill.
They're not, but they're cheap and they've got a fair amount of firepower.
The problem is that if he drives them onto an objective, you have to deal with them, or he pulls ahead on points, at which point you commit forces to do them, and then he drops in his drop units of plasma and fucks you.
Yeah, it depends on what he's got.
There is countercharge.
I was going to say, if I have a Contemptor unload on one of these things, today every time I've had a Contemptor unload, I've got like 14 shots. So I'm going to wound these on 4s. So I'll make him make like 6 or 7 saves, and I'll do again today. It always seemed every time I find a Contemptor, I get about 3 mortal wounds. So I'll make him make 6 or 7 saves and take 3 mortals. So arguably, 1 Relic Contemptor can kill one of these every turn without breaking a sweat, right?
All right.
And I can make one of my Dreadnoughts toughness 8, so whichever Dreadnought he goes after, I make it toughness 8. So if he's trying to kill it with these Gatling cannons, then he's only wounding on 6s, so he's not going to kill it. If he gets one Dreadnought down to half health, that's the one that I cast Mighty Heroes on, and then I heal it. So now he's up. He's in Shit Creek. Already did that once today. So I guess these things aren't worrying. It's just going to, like you said, it's going to take me a few turns to chew through them. But I think he's only got 5 of them. I think each Dreadnought can kill 1 per turn, potentially.
10 wounds, you're going to hit it, 3? Just about kill 1 per turn?
Just about, yeah. I mean, with my Chapter Master rerolls and the Tech Marine giving me +1, and then there is other firepower that I can throw out, like the Whirlwind, and Detect Marines Forge Bolter, and
I think he'll decide whether or not he puts the plasma units in the transports or off board or not, based on whether he thinks you'll be able to leave him any room to bring stuff down where he wants to. So he'll decide that based on what your level of board control is.
Terminators won't survive long against the amount of firepower in the board, says Highland Phoenix. I think the hotshot units will be in the transports. So yeah, maybe if I go first, we just try and kill like 2 transports. That seems like we can probably manage that.
He's got a lot of bodies, hasn't he? He's got.
This is all he's going for. Is sheer amount of bodies. He's going to be racking up the points while you try and chew through it. And every time he decides to drop down, he's going to wipe something out. Is his plan?
All right, let me
a bit like those sisters lists we saw. You remember when they were dropping in all the Seraphim with all the Inferno pistols and?
Yeah, let me see.
It's going to play very similarly.
Let me see what map we're playing on, because that's going to be important, and then maybe we can think about some secondaries.
Highland reckons he's going to stick a squad in each one of those transports. He might do. He might just mix and match.
Yeah, I mean, he can even put 2 in each transport, right?
Yeah.
So it's got the capacity. Absolutely. How's he doing on characters? Was it 4 or 5 characters?
4.
Plus the assassin.
Plus the assassin, yeah, I forgot about the assassin.
That could be a trap, though. Trying to kill off a Caluxus.
Well, yeah.
Hold on.
That's a question. When does he have to decide what assassin he takes compared to when secondaries get chosen? That's interesting.
I actually don't know.
No, nor do I.
Alright, I'm just getting the rules pack up, 1 sec. I know that the final map is going to be priority objective, priority target, priority objective.
They're the minigun Tauroxes, Marcus.
Map number 4 is going to be sweep and clear. Map number 5 is going to be priority target. So map number 5, actually, if we can win this game, map number 5, priority target is a great one for me. The Whirlwind can sit on the priority objective the entire game, and I just score points that way. Sweep and clear is the quarters deployment. Okay. 5 objectives.
I've got something to go sort. I'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't keep me off or anything. I'll just turn off the camera.
Yeah, sure.
You say the terrain's pretty average.
Yeah, the terrain is average, but do you know what? The fact that it's only 5 objectives actually kind of helps me, I think, because I'm just probably going to sit on 2, I think.
What, and then just try and sweep in the last ones in the latter?
I think so. I think play my normal style of like being really defensive for the first 2 turns, because we already know that my melee is going to absolutely chomp through his stuff, right?
Yeah, you don't even need turn 3. You're going to kill it. If you kill it in turn 3, you'd kill it in turn 1 or 2 as well. There's nothing there that's tough enough to need the extra attack and that.
Yeah, so any unit that I can charge, I can kill with any unit. Even incursors are going to kill a whole unit. So maybe I use...
really unlucky.
Yeah, maybe I use the incursors reasonably forward, reasonably aggressive, just to make sure that like I'm going to hold these 2 for the entire game. My dreadnoughts I'm going to find the best place for my dreadnoughts, like a nice open area so I can get line of sights. Remember, it's 45 inches.
He hasn't got any long-range anti-tank, so you can sit them. The only thing you've got to worry about is if he drops a load of melter next to one, but you're going to all-specs one of those units off the board.
Yeah, and I guess I'll try and screen around the Redemptors.
Yeah, if you plonk your incursors really far forward, you're saying this objective is mine if you get first turn. But when he starts dropping stuff in, he's going to kill easily a unit of incursors. Although saying that, sticking transhuman on them would be really annoying. because that's going to mean he's going to have to commit at least a couple of units to do so.
Yeah, and so the unit of meltas that he's got, how nasty are they actually?
They're the same as any other meltas. It's a unit full of them. They're hitting on 3s. He's going to be within 9.
It's only a single shot.
Not.
It's only a single shot. So he's going to not be at half range, and it's only going to be 4 shots.
Yeah.
As opposed to multi-melta retributors, which the Sisters of Battle do.
Yeah. He's got 2 squads, though, to be fair. So he could, if he wanted to, drop down both squads. And that should pop one of your Redemptors or something.
Yeah, so my plan then will be to try and... If I can keep the Redemptors 8 inches from the back of the board with maximum firepower or maximum firing arcs, and maybe the whirlwind on one side of them, and I can screen with a squad of incursors on the other side of them, or something like that, and just make it like he cannot kill the Contemptor Dreadnoughts, then I think I win this game.
Yeah, just got to make sure that he doesn't outscore you, because this list is all about scoring points. Yeah.
So what's secondaries is going to be good here? I mean, it's a 5 objective map, so at some point, arguably, I'm going to have to be in the middle. So Oath of Moment and Retrieve Octarius Data are the 2 that I've been doing.
I think both of those involve you needing to... Retrieve especially is going to need you to isolate one of your units to do it. I'd be looking at something like Grind Them Down.
I did think Grind Them Down. He does have a shitload of units,
He's
right?
got a shitload of units. He's also got a shitload of vehicles as well.
Not that much. You only get 5 points. These are 10 wounds? Would you get?
10 wounds, yeah.
Is it more than 9 for the 2 points? For Bring It Down?
Let me grab the...
Metal can probably kill a Dread. Yeah, you're probably right. Metal can probably kill a Dread.
Can't find the damn pages. So what is it now called? So Grind Them Down. Score 3 victory points if more enemy units and friendly units. Definitely, I think that's a good one for it.
And what category is that in? What's the other things in Grind Me Down?
Grind Them Down's in No Mercy.
Go remind me what the other ones are in there.
The other ones in there is To the Last, No Prisoners.
I think I made a... One second. I think I made a document on this for myself.
I reckon he's going to go for Stranglehold. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Stranglehold. Yeah, I did make a document on this. Bring It Down.
No, we don't go 8. Wounds are characteristic of 10 or less. It's only worth 1 point, so yeah, it's not worth it.
Alright, so Bring It Down is not worth it. Probably Retrieve Octarius Data. Unless I take Raise the Banners.
I think Banners might be your better pick.
Rez, I think I would have to argue with you that Incursors are immune to the Collectus. Because he replaces their ballistic skill with 6, it's not a modifier, I believe.
See, I reckon Banners would be the better pick because to go for Octarius, you've got to have your units bouncing around on their own, and he can quite happily drop something in and just wipe them off, and then that's that done. Whereas Banners, if you start plonking them on...
Well, I would get 2 banners up probably for 5 turns.
He's not going to take those.
John, what was the name of that stratagem he had at the top of his list again with the requisition thingy? Operative Requisition Sanctioned.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that exists anymore.
What does Wapedia say?
You might be thinking it's a...
Yeah, I mean, Wapedia doesn't have it. What does Google say?
The name for that stratagem these days is, I believe, Shadow Assignment.
And what does it do?
It's the one where you take your assassin out of your army and replace it with any other assassin. I think it used to be called that Operative Requisition.
It did. Yeah, that was the old
thing.
name for it in 8th.
So depending on how much of a cock you want to be, you can say your list is illegal because you've included this 8th edition stratagem that doesn't exist anymore. But that would be really dickish and you don't want to do that.
Depends how much of a dick he is, really.
Well, it sounds like...
But I still don't think you can do that and just say, I'm going to bring an assassin.
Like I say, it depends when... It really depends on whether or not the event pack requires that to be specified as part of the roster.
Yeah, the shadow assignment is just before the battle starts. So, yeah, it would be after selecting secondaries.
I mean, he's put himself at a disadvantage by including it on his roster, so take it and run.
Yeah, I suppose so.
He does not now have the option to not spend those 2 CB, which is fine.
Yeah. All right, so... Like you said, grind them down's good, but it interferes with Oath of Moment.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is that a no mercy, is it?
Yeah.
Rez, you've got a point, but I've just taken a quick look at what's in the rulebook, and as part of the section under dice, it defines what modifiers are. And it's all about things that modify the dice roll up or down, or divide or multiply. Replacing the ballistic skill entirely with a different stat is not apparently included in that.
So what's the ruling then? Do the incursors still hit on a 3 or do they hit on 6s?
If it was my call, I would call that they are affected by the Colexus and they would hit him on 6s.
Okay.
That's how I'd play it as well.
If you plan on that, then that's your worst case. And if you ask the TO beforehand and he rules otherwise, then you get to work with that, yeah.
Yeah, sweep and clear. So direct assault isn't great for me either, I don't think.
What about purge? Oh no, that's not going to happen, is it? Oh, hang on. Yeah, it might. Purge the enemy. If you select this objective, you score victory points as follows. Score 1 victory point at the end of the battle for each enemy unit that was destroyed by a heavy or grenade weapon, while Devastator was active. Score 1 victory point by the end of the battle for each rapid fire assault or tactical.
Yeah, you're only allowed to take 1 from the...
Purge the enemy.
I was going to say, you can only take...
So Codex Warfare, though, you've not got anything else in that purge slot.
No, but I'm not familiar with it. You know that, Tony? I've never played it.
Because he's got a lot of very lightweight units, then you could easily kill a couple in every turn.
Yeah, I think I can outkill him probably, right?
So yeah, you'd get 1 victory point for each one of the units you kill with heavy in turn 1, tactical in turn, sort of rapid fire assault in turn 2, and melee in turn 3 or onwards.
You're both going to be terrified of each army fucking the other up if you get first turn.
Yeah, but I'm not familiar. I'm not going to play something that I'm not familiar with.
I think I'd want second turn on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if he rolls up and then I just shoot him, that's fine.
Yeah, or melee him.
I mean, I guess he's getting 100 strength 4 shots with -1 AP though if he goes first.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Highland suggested Blade of Sanguinius because he's got no characters that you can't absolutely nuke.
If I was going to do that, I would do Assassinate because I'd kill more. I feel like it's more reliable.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've never taken Codex Warfare either, Highland. I'm just thinking with lists like this, it might be a choice. But John's right. You shouldn't really try playing a new objective that you've not tried before in a tournament. That seems a bit risky.
Then maybe I have to take Assassinate. The thing about Assassinate, though, that might actually come to my benefit here is we know that I can kill his units very, very quickly with the Dreadnoughts. We also know that I can kill his vehicles very, very quickly with the Dreadnoughts. So arguably, if the map is good and I can get line of sight, I could probably kill a unit of 5 guys and then just shoot the other Contemptor at the characters. Start killing off the characters.
I mean, all of those characters are going to die to a fart. He's got nothing that you couldn't kill off with a unit of incursors in shooting.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that has the invulnerable save, I think, is the
5-up buff and the Bulgrins.
Yeah.
Does the Lord Commissar get one?
He might have a 5-up. I doubt he would be better than that. We can have a look.
Let's have a little look. But I don't think he's got anything. Like Null Zone for you in this game is going to be almost fairly useless.
Mm.
Well, then I'll just smite them to death.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Don't worry about it. Just
Good shout.
This is all about
he does get a 5-up,
yeah. Can he score enough points before you kill everything on the board? And that's what he's banking on.
Yeah, it's one of those
lists. As well as
lists.
having a nasty alpha strike.
In some ways, it's a lot. I think this list is going to feel like a lot like when I played against the Necrons, right? Like, they're just going to have chaff everywhere. It's all about me biding my time, killing the chaff.
This is chaff that bites.
How many enemy wounds are there in this?
Not as many as you would think, actually, because I did look at that, right? So it's like, because he's got a ton of plasma guns, so there's like 30 there.
Yeah.
These vehicles wouldn't count. There's another 10.
40, 50, 60, 70, so 7 VP.
7 plus the Bulgrams, I don't know how many wounds they are. 4 each? So 9 VP or something?
They were 3 each.
So you'd get 8.
15.
Yeah, gives you potentially 85 points from no prisoners.
But the flip side of that is you're going to be nuking the crap out of them anyway, so it might well be easy points for stuff you're going to be doing regardless. You're not going to have to go out your way to score those points.
No, that's true.
So, low scoring, but not exactly a
Consistent
problem.
scoring.
Octarius, he'll be able to put a lot of pressure on you to control where you can redeploy people.
Within reason, yeah.
I'd be wary of that. I mean, you obviously got jump pack models who can just move wherever they want, but still.
But this is chaff, but chaff that's going to bite hard. It's got a lot of every one of those squads has got a lot of firepower, even if it dies easily.
Do you know what? I just played the orc list. That you know how stupid those orc lists are, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm not sure about taking Oath of Moment against this orc list, but I took it against the orc list and ended up getting 14 points for it.
Yeah, cool.
You know, because like
you must have managed to hold the middle a fair whack then.
2 turns. That was it. So I guess I never failed the leadership test, killed the vehicle or character every turn, and then held the middle for 2 turns.
You don't want to take banners on a 5 objective game. You never take banners on a 5 objective game. It's fool's choice.
Because
if you take banners, you want to be able to put banners up on 3 objectives turn 1.
Turn 1
and then hold them as much as you can. So it needs to be a 6 objective game, and 3 of those objectives need to be within easy reach of you and your deployment and DZ. So otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere near the amount of points you'll get with them with anything else. So banners on a 5 objective game, don't even bother.
All right, so let's start scoring shit out. We're not going to do banners. I'm probably going to do Oath because
well, you know it. You know how to play it.
Yeah, I always play Oath. We're probably going to do Retrieve Victorious Data because it's going to be a minimum of 8 points, I think. Like, minimum we do it in the quadrant next to my base, my deployment zone, and then 1 turn. I can always make a gap. You know, like the orc player really tried to screen me out. He had stuff sitting at the back of the board, like scrap jets, rocket trucks, and I was like, yeah, at some point I will kill all this chaff and I will get my guys in.
And if the board is, as you said, as foresty and woodsy and less line of sight blocking, he'll be able to shoot you off those objectives and banners. Just going back to that briefly.
Yeah. So then I think the final choice then kind of has to be Assassinate. It's either Assassinate or Engage on all fronts. The thing about Engage on all fronts means it puts pressure on me to push out early.
Yeah.
I don't want pressure to push out early. I'd rather, like, I can mop up all those characters in one turn late in the game. Especially if there's no chaff units around to protect them.
Well, they're all pretty weak, aren't they? The only tough one would be if he took a Calaxus, but if that's the only thing left at the end of the game and you've got killed everything else, then you've still got 13 points out of it.
Yeah,
I mean, there's an argument here for going Oath and Stranglehold, and just go for the middle and say, "Come at me," because then you've got primary points revolving around you holding the middle objective. You've got 2 secondaries with points revolving around the middle objective. The question is, can you hold it?
No.
Yeah, can you hold 3 objectives?
I think
That's
want
what you'll need to do for Stranglehold.
The same way I just beat the Orcs. I think I want to bide my time. I want to I think in the game against the Orcs, I looked at the score in turn 2 or something, and he was up like 47-20. Because I started thinking like, all right, I really need to get some fucking points here because, you know, you give them that early lead, but you come back and you basically table them. So I think, all right, I think we do assassinate against the Scions list.
Take the early punch. For any other Blood Angel player, I would urge Stranglehold, but it just doesn't work. This tactic doesn't work well for how you play.
I don't think it'll work well with that many OBSEC units as well.
Yeah, that's another factor.
Because all he's got to do, if you're trying to hold units like you normally do with the Dreadnoughts, things like that, then all he's got to do is drop one of those Scions units and move it up to...
Yeah, well, we'll make a call. I mean, I think I can get a good 30 points from secondaries there. I think the one advantage to this is it's a 5 objective map on Sweep of Clear, right? So we kind of know that he's going to want to hold the middle, right? So if I deploy my Dreadnoughts far enough away from the middle that I'm not going to be rapid fired with the plasmas, anytime he goes into the middle, I'll just kill him. We'll do that for 2 turns with shooting, and then I'll join the fun with turn 3.
I reckon he'll try and stick those Bullgrin in the centre. Maybe run them up there to Bullgrin getting Tauroxes. I can't remember if they still have. Do you remember Ogren used to have that rule of it's dark in here and they wouldn't get in a Chimera or whatever.
But the Bullgrin, I don't know. I think I can kill them pretty quickly.
I think so, but that's the unit he's got for holding the centre.
Okay, it's brick. Yeah, it's true.
Well, then I just
that's the only unit he's got that can hold anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Crusaders, who are surprisingly tanky for their 80 points, but they're not that tanky. If he sticks the Bullgrin and the Crusaders together on there, you're going to be laughing because you can null zone a lot of them and kill them all.
That's true. I feel like the Crusaders are there for Rod, to be honest, but I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know what else you use the Crusaders for in his list.
Yeah, it might be a reasonable strategy, Highland. Yeah, you might have a fair point.
Bullgrim can go into them. Thanks, Lord Lusagic. Well, I think we take 2 turns, we kill both the vehicles, and if we manage to kill both the vehicles and keep my Dreadnoughts alive, then the Dreadnoughts take over the game and they win the game. That's what happened in the game against the Orcs today. And the Orcs are arguably are stronger than this, I think. I mean, the sheer weight of fire you get coming out from those Orcs at like 36 inches is ridiculous, you know, and they are Marine killers. I guess in some ways these things are Marine killers, but I can at least shoot back. You know, the rocket trucks are 36 inches away in an obscuring position, so I just have to weather the... I think I only killed rocket trucks in turn 5. So, like, against that Orc list, I had to just weather 4 turns of rocket truck fire, you know? Okay, alright. Yeah, so...
At least we know what this list is designed to do and how it functions. It's just a question of how he's going to apply the force.
Yeah. Alright, at least I know a little bit more about the list as well now, because before this stream I knew fuck all. Alright, so if I can win that game, then I imagine, either Stefan Robertson or Jason Robertson on the top table for the end of the tournament.
A pair of names that sound like they've played each other a lot.
So Jason Robertson, Stefan Robertson. Let's see what we're up against.
Grey Knights and what was the other one?
This one's Grey Knight, Stefan Robertson, Jason Robertson.
Sororitas.
Sisters. All right, well, let's start with Sisters because I know a lot about Sisters.
I'll let you analyse Sisters. You know these shit.
All right, so Morgenthau, Argent Shroud is the one that lets them move and take no penalty from advancing shooting, if I remember correctly. They have a Battle Sister squad. Of course, they have 2 squads of the Stormbolters that do mortal wounds on 1 CP strat with the Blessed Bolts that pretty much guarantees 6 mortal wounds. He then has Retributors times 2 squads, both with 2 Cherubs. Multi-meltas, so he can advance them out of a Rhino or something like he has here, and not take any penalty to move and shooting. I actually think he's still -1 if he leaves a I think if he comes in from strategic reserve, he's -1, but I think he can leave a transport and not count as move and shooting.
Yeah, that's the way it works. Yeah, if you come from reserve, you always count as moving, irrespective of any other rules.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was in an FAQ somewhere.
Yeah, that is correct. What are you talking about them firing?
Multi-meltas.
Oh yeah, they're heavy.
This looks very much like
if you disembark for transport, you're moving. So yeah, and if you deep strike, you're moving.
The Argent Shroud overdoes that.
I think the Argent Shroud overdoes the disembarking part. But we are playing that on priority target, I guess. So that is the one when you get to move the objectives around, right? So that will be interesting. Because if I can move 1 objective back and hide the whirlwind, I can score 15 points very, very safely. I mean, probably he can score 15 points safely as well. Okay. Let me see the second detachment.
Let me just... So this is Order of the Argent Shroud. Deeds, not words. Each time a unit with this conviction makes a normal move or advances in your movement phase until the end of your shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary, which means you can actually advance and shoot heavy weapons.
Yeah,
no penalty. Each time a unit with this conviction is selected to shoot or fight, you can re-roll 1 hit roll or 1 room roll.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then what's he got? He's got fancy warlord trait, fancy relic, whether he's taken it or not, and then his CP. His strat is when one of their units would lose a wound and result from mortal wound. So the end of that fight, so he's got a mortal wound shield.
And he's got
1 CP for a 4+ against mortal wounds.
Okay.
Not that you're spamming much of their mortal wounds. Could affect the use of your Contemptor, though.
Yeah, it could. So 1 CP
4+ invuln against mortals.
On 1 CP strat, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Alright, so that's for 1 detachment. The second detachment is Bloody Rose, and I believe Bloody Rose is 1 extra attack and 1 extra AP when they charge or are
Order of the Bloody Rose.
Units that disembark can then act normally, move, shoot, charge, fight, etc. in the remainder of the turn, but its models count as having moved that turn even if they are not moved further, i.e. they never count as having remained stationary.
What page is that on?
That's core rules, movement section, under transports.
There was an FAQ that clarified it as well.
Was there?
Yeah, because there was a big thing about Ultramarines who got similar ability, don't they?
Don't know. There was that thing about them getting back into transports after they'd done stuff the same turn.
Well, if there is an FAQ about it, if he does it and I'm playing against him, I will challenge him and say in the core rules it says you can't do that, and if you can't provide the FAQ, then you can't do it. Right? That's how that works?
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we can find it.
Yeah, I'll have a quick look while we're talking.
Order of the Bloody Rose. Each time a unit with this conviction fights, if it made a charge move, was charged or performed a heroic intervention, until that fight is resolved, add 1 to the attack's characteristic. So you get shock assault. Each time a model with this conviction makes a melee attack, if the model's unit made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention, improve the armor penetration of that attack by 1. So he always gets AP -1. So basically, he gets shock assault and
AP -1
assault doctrine.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got Celestine and the Gemini support as well. Wow. Okay. Under Pension Superior, he's got a bunch of Sacrosants. It looks like 10, 8, and 8. He's got Crusaders.
He can't use that Argent Shroud strat on those Sacrosants.
No, he can't.
So I'd melt those with that Contemptor.
With the mortal wounds, yeah. He also has 9 Repentia, so probably actually have to melt them first because they have that fight on death thing, which is horrific. He's a Dogmata.
You can kill them with anything that's got a gun, can't you?
The verse of holy piety is the Dogmata's. What is the verse of holy piety?
I'm just looking it up. It's an elite's character thing, isn't it, Dogmata? Dogmata. Oh, hang on, it's a battle. So it's taken the battle hymn.
The battle hymn is inspiring. Select 1 core character within 6. Select 1 secret rite that is not active for your army. Alright, so you can give them another secret rite.
I do not believe that the FAQ counters my reading of the rules for rules that count as remaining stationary that was introduced in the last core book FAQ. If you want to read it yourself and double check, I'll put the link in Discord in the admin channel. It's page 8.
Alright, let's have a look. Page 8. Rules that count as remaining stationary. Some rules around count as remaining stationary or count as not having moved, even if the unit has moved during its movement phase. The following rules apply to these types. Even if a transport model... Which subsection, sorry?
So none of these address models that have disembarked, which means that the
what
rules
about
for
common from
disembarking-
strategic reserve?
That's reinforcements, so that's 6. Strategic reserve is reinforcements.
There you go. So it doesn't affect it. So there you go, John. So just make sure he doesn't try and play it that you can jump out or come in and still get that.
So if he moves...
If he moves or advances, he can shoot at full effect. But if he gets out of transport...
Then he can... if he disembarks, he must always count as having moved.
He's
and if he comes
-1
on
to hit.
And if he gets out of a transport, if he comes on from deep strike or strategic or anything that's reinforcements, then he always counts as having moved.
Yeah, and what Retributor squads? I'm familiar with Sisters, but not that familiar.
There'll be 3s, I'd imagine.
Retributor squads do hit on 3s.
Yeah, they do.
And
Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3.
What am I trying to ask here? What's making him -1 to hit? The fact that he's moving a heavy weapon?
Yeah. You're moving and firing a heavy weapon makes you -1 to hit.
I thought the Retributors had something. Ignored that.
D-King, if you disembark as part of the core rules for disembarking, you always count as having moved, whether or not you then after a normal or advance afterwards. It's up to you.
I think it's only Argent Shroud that does something about that, unless there's a strat that I'm missing somewhere.
I actually don't know where that is in the core rules.
Which bit, sorry?
The bit that just said heavy weapon.
Subtract 1. The actual -1 bit will be in weapons type heavy weapons. So it'll be a little bit further down. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so I need to keep that in mind. So if he can move in advance and shoot no minus with Argent Shroud, but if he leaves a transport or comes in from strategic reserve, it's -1.
Or any kind of reserve, yes.
Alright.
So it looks.
Cool. Let me see what else we got in the Sisters list. Where the hell am I?
Do you know what the strat is called, Philip?
Because I can't find it.
And then Zephyrim, Repentia, Retributor squads. Alright, so I kind of know how to fight against it. This army is also paper thin. It just does a ton of damage. Again, you kind of have to weather the storm, I guess.
This just looks like Andrew's list from 6 months ago.
It is Andrew's list from 6 months ago. I mean, it's identical. He's got Celestine in 2 characters. He's got the 9 10 modern squads of Sacrosancts. He's got the 2
Now, that's not
Zeppelins.
to say it's going to be trivial, because he may well play it better than Andrew.
Yeah, you can bet that if he's gotten this far in the game, he's, was he? He'll be 3-0, 4-0.
3-0, yeah. And
So
has scored
then he
like
clearly
9.
knows how to use this.
He's probably scored 95 points plus every game, because I've scored 80 plus every game and I'm on table 2. So, he does have more multi-meltas than Andrew's list ever had. I think Andrew always ran 2 squads. Oh, he's actually got heavy flamers. Oh, interesting. Okay, so one of the squads has got heavy flamers. So it's 2 multi-melta squads and then 1 with heavy flamers. All right, so it's going to be a tough list to beat.
Hold on a second. So, just to answer Rez and James, and possibly Philip in chat, the Argent Shroud passive says, each time a unit with this conviction makes a normal move or advances in your movement phase, until the end of your shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary. Okay? But as part of the core rules for disembarking says whenever you disembark, you must always count as having moved. Whether or not you then go on to move or advance afterwards, you always count as having moved.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's good to know. Thank you. All right. And then I guess the question is, who's going to win, the Sisters or the Grey Knights? I kind of want the Sisters to win because I just kind of know how to play against the Sisters. If the Grey Knights win, I'll be in the top table against an army I've literally never fought before. I've never fought Grey Knights.
Hang on, let me get the Grey Knights book.
So,
yeah.
If general opinion of the metagame is to be believed, Grey Knights are probably the favourite.
They are pretty good. I've used them a couple of times, and I've played with them a couple of times, against them a couple of times, and they are brutal. Has he gone for a Dread Knights sort of spammy list? Because that seems to be Dread Knights and Strike Squads is the way forward at the moment.
okay, so Brother Librarian, we'll just read the whole list and then we'll come back. Castle and Crow, Grandmaster and Nemesis Dread Knight, then 3 Strike Squads, all with 4 swords, Storm Bolters, 2 squads of Servitors, so it looks like he's likely going to try and do
objectives.
Data. Another Dread Knight is a heavy support choice, a Rhino, a Grandmaster and a Nemesis Dread Knight, Kaldor Drago, Drago, another Strike Squad.
You looked at Drago last night.
Yeah, another squad of Servitors. Interceptors?
They're basically jump pack Grey Knights.
Okay.
They can teleport along, but it just works the same mechanically as jump
pack. Once per game, they can redeploy anywhere on the board.
And a Brother Ancient. He has a lot of characters, right?
Yeah.
So
6 characters?
But they're all good characters.
Yeah, none of them will be
tough
pushovers.
Characters.
They'll be chunky. You'll be able to eat through them, but they won't be a pushover.
Those Dread Knights will all have 4 up invuns. They're only toughness 6.
Yeah.
But they'll have 4 up invuns and they will do a lot of damage. Has he gone with the swords on the Dread Knights?
That one does.
I can't read it.
Nemesis Great Sword. I don't know if I can make it bigger.
Yeah, so it's got two profiles, that. So you can either chonk something hard or it can do a strength 6 sweep attack, which gives him loads of attacks.
Do they have built-in teleport homers these days, or am I misremembering that?
I think you have to pay 10 points for one.
You used to. I seem to remember reading that they might have built them in these days.
If you give me 2 minutes, I'm just going to grab the codex.
That's right. Wikipedia will do its usual. It's a 10-point upgrade.
Okay, so Strike Squads. Are these basically just Terminators?
No, they are power armored.
Yeah, so they're Space Marines.
But they have Storm Bolters. And
they're just intercessors, but with force weapons and psychic powers and storm bolters.
And teleport strike.
They are just as delicate as any Space Marine. First-born Space Marine.
So is that his only obsec?
Well, yeah, but he's got a lot of them.
He's got 4 squads. That's not that many.
It's plenty when they're all pretty heavily armed and armored.
They're not heavily armored.
They don't have a shrug against mortals, do they?
They do have a shrug against mortals.
I think it's a Sanctic Astartes keyword or something like that.
Yeah, that's their thing.
And what
So
is
yeah,
it? Like an
strike
army-wide
squads are
list?
really good. Yeah, army-wide one.
If the two things go against each other, and one says you do count as moving, and the other one says you don't count as moving, because you'll have those two rules in effect at the same time, then the one that says you must always count as moving will override it. It's always about the stuff that restricts things rather than being permissive.
So hold on, what's giving them a shrug against morals?
I'm just trying to find it.
I'm not seeing.
What brotherhood has he gone with?
Rapiers.
Ooh. So while I'm still trying to find that, rapiers, they get a deadly efficiency as their strat. So use a strat in the fight phase. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores an additional hit. Their psychic power, which means that they'll all have this, is add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the unit. And they've got a warlord trait that means they can advance and charge. Oh, here we go. So the rule is, it's in the detachment abilities, the Aegis.
Seeing that now, yeah. Highland Phoenix.
Each time a model in the unit would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll 1d6 on a 5+, that wound is not lost. If the unit is a psyker, add 1 to deny the witch. So you're not getting any psychic powers off in this game.
I'll get stuff. I've got +1, so 50-50, I guess.
Did he bring a librarian?
He did, a Brotherhood librarian.
So this bastard, yeah, he's gone with this can spit out up to about 20 odd mortal wounds in a single turn, if he doesn't mind burning a few CP.
I'm glad I brought Soul Warden.
Yeah.
So he can teleport him down, spit out 20 mortal wounds.
Your Soul Warden will certainly pay for itself.
And then he can teleport away again before you can kill him.
Okay. He's basically in Terminator armor, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you just go back to the list a second? I'm not sure if he gave... did he give either of his Nemesis Dreadnoughts a teleporter, Homer? Oh, he's got a Dreadnought teleporter on that one, yeah. And he has on the other one. Okay, so they're going to be more mobile than they look.
And he's got another... So he's got 3. He's got another Grandmaster.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. And I bet one of them's got... There's a relic, which means that when you shoot at him, he can decide, you know what, I'm going to teleport away before you get to hit me. And he can use that. So you shoot him at long range, and then he uses that to immediately teleport 9 inches away from you. And because it's in your turn, that means in his turn, he can then move and charge you, which is upsetting.
The librarian can do 22 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Says James.
It's bonkers.
Well, that sounds balanced.
I mean, he's got to burn some CP to do it, but yeah.
So we're basically what? Space Marines, Dreadnoughts, and some characters.
Seems like it. And servitors. And a rhino. I guess maybe with strikes.
Why not?
One strike squad is in a rhino. Brotherhood Ancient. I don't know what that is either.
Banner Bearer.
I think it's just the same as our ancients, to be honest.
Oh, really? Why do you take that?
Well, let me check. I'm sitting here with the codex in my hand rather than guessing.
Oh, it adds 1 to the attacks. Oh, so their banner is actually useful. Go figure. I'm not bitter at all, am I?
Not even slightly.
Oh, you should have seen me against Admech, like...
Yeah, it's just +1 attack, and then it...
And for
and then
whatever reason...
+1 leadership, who gives a shit?
Yeah. And it's on a Terminator. Yeah.
Portal output in the Zoom Codex is stupid. Yeah, I mean, it can be.
Yeah, this guy is going to be able to split. Every unit in his army can do a full-blown smite.
I wonder what he's going to do with a rhino.
Just stick it on something to hold objectives.
Surely
you might protect
Can those
someone with
servitors get in it?
I don't see any reason why not.
So maybe you could run the servitors around to get them to places to do Octarius.
So what are these
No, he's
interceptors?
got 3 dreadnoughts, not 6.
Okay, so the interceptors are just regular Marines as well, then?
They are, but they're basically jump pack Marines.
Yeah.
They're jump pack Marines with a once per game teleport.
So I can kill both of those things reasonably quickly.
You can kill all of his stuff fairly quickly. It's very efficient because they're only about 22 points a model, and they're way better than any of our stuff for 22 points a model. But they are still, at the end of the day, just Space Marines. 2 wounds, toughness 4, 3 up armor save. But all of his weapons are going to do 2 damage in combat. So he's going to hate your dreadnoughts if you stick them in combat with any of those strike squads.
Yeah, I mean, the Nemesis Dreadknights in combat, though, are a problem, aren't they?
Oh, they're brutal.
They've got these great swords, which are D6 damage.
Is he giving them all the great swords, then?
Yeah, I think so.
I see one with a great sword, a second with a great sword, and I see a third with a dread fist.
Oh, he's keeping it cheap. It's a gun one.
I mean, it's still. It's still
the dread
strength
fist
12.
is still pretty good, but it's only damage 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure, go on, fight my dreadnought.
So these characters are over. These dreadknights though are over 10 wounds, so I can shoot them turn 1.
Yeah.
So there might be something to say to just shoot both dreadknights that have. I'm kind of leaning to what Highland Phoenix is saying is just kill all his OBSEC stuff.
John, are you familiar with this hexagrammic ward strat Reziel's mentioned?
No, what does that do?
1 CP, use it in your opponent's psychic phase, so he will play it during your psychic phase before a deny the witch test is taken. When you take that deny the witch test, roll an additional d6 and discard the lowest result. So it makes his deny the witch much more powerful.
Okay.
So it'd be for 1 CP, 3d6, pick the 2 highest deny the witch rolls.
So you can almost guarantee a deny against you. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember his Brotherhood Librarian already gets +1, so he'll get +2 to denies as it is. So that Librarian will have +2 to deny the witch chances and be able to play that. So he can deny something if you really need it off.
Okay. And what
Kaldor's a beast in melee. That's literally all he is. He's a chapter master beast in melee.
Okay, and this other character, Castellan Crow?
Castellan Crow's the same. He's just a melee monster.
He's powered armored rather than a Terminator, but yeah, he's got a lot
he's
of
still
output.
2+ armor save though.
He'll be Artificer then.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got a lot of attacks. He's a company champion. But he's a company champion with a 4-up invuln. He can do a kind of angel sacrifice. Not angel sacrifice. The one that lets you fight on death.
Yeah.
He can fight on death. He's got a mega heroic intervention.
If you think of them like Eldar in a way, but slower and a bit more resilient in that they will need to use all of their powers to buff up whatever they want at any given time to make that more resilient against you, to essentially take a punch on a particular thing. It's kind of where they'll be going with this.
Yeah, I thought they were doing away with giving units just 3-up saves like that.
That's a legacy.
Oh, is that what it is? Didn't they get Codex?
Kaldor Drago, that's not, he's got it. It's 3-up invuln. Kaldor Drago is an absolute beast. Wow. Look at this guy. He's got 3-up invuln, 7 wounds, 2-up save as normal, 6 attacks, and his sword is +4 strength, -4 damage, -4 AP, 3 damage. He's an absolute monster.
180 points. Oh, that's
180
pretty
points.
tasty.
And he can teleport into battle. He's only got a 5-inch move, but he doesn't care. Because you can remember they've got the equivalent of they've got psychic power that lets you teleport people about. So he's just going to throw him into whatever needs to die, and it's going to die.
Do they have any boost charge stuff above and beyond a reroll? Because they're still charging. They'll still be charging on 9s.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can only use the teleport power once per turn if you're using it as a psychic power.
Yeah. I didn't see what his warlord trait was.
Who is the warlord in this list?
I didn't see, no.
It was warlord.
Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight.
Fair enough.
So what's he picked?
Sigil of Exigence, Gem of Inoctu, First to the Fray.
So first to the fray means advance and charge. So,
okay.
So he's got advance and charge. And also, if he charges, then everybody nearby gets to add 1 to their charge rolls. If they charge him as well.
Fair enough. So he'll be the centre point for whatever melee push they want to make.
What was his relic?
That one where you can teleport 9 inches and suddenly become untargetable, essentially.
Yeah,
Big
that's
jolt
a dick thing, that is.
Excellence, and he also has the Gem of
Inoctu,
which is
the Gem of Inoctu.
Once per battle, when the bearer is selected to manifest a psychic power, you can use this gift. If you do so until the end of the phase, each time the bearer attempts to manifest a psyker, add 2 to the psychic test.
Okay, yeah.
No deking. The rapiers get the one that means they get extra attacks. But yeah, you got to watch out for that sigil because I was messing about with a little list of this the other day, waiting for him to shoot my dreadnought. I stuck it right in the front of the army, and the first time someone shot it, I teleported him 9 inches away from him.
So what we're saying is that all the lists that have done well so far in this tournament have been lists that kill, and have no real sense of self-preservation or resilience.
Yeah, although Dreadknights are pretty tough with a 4-up invuln.
Yeah.
They're like land speeders with 4-up invulns and more wounds.
My list has risen.
Well, you've won all three of your games.
Your list has you hiding.
Wins games,
That's not the
doesn't
same
it?
thing.
Wins games.
Sorry, playing cautious.
I mean, I don't know how the fuck you win any games with a melee-only army at the moment, honestly. Like, if people are doing that and winning games, like, props to them, because against the AdMech list I played the game today, there's no way I win that with a melee army. Against the Orc list I played today, there's no way I win that. They both do far too much damage, and I have to hide and cover saves. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but far from it.
Sanguinary Guard are like paper in the current meta, it feels like to me. Every single game, I think that Sanguinary Guard made their charge, kill something, and then they just get wiped. If I have one Sanguinary Guard left after they've made a fight, I'm like pleased because I was like, ooh, I can Wings of Fire this and do Rod with them. You know, like that's the limit of after one round of combat with your Sanguinary Guard, a 260 point model, that's all you get to do. You try and find a fucking hole where that one Sanguinary Guard can land and you can do Rod.
What's Prescient Brethren, Tony?
What is it?
What are you seeing that?
Is it a warlord trait?
It's a Brotherhood.
Okay. So Brotherhoods. Prescient Brethren. Okay, so they have a strat, which means that use this in your shooting phase when a unit from your army is selected to shoot or in the fight phase when they're selected to fight. Reroll hits and wounds of 1. Then their psychic power is a malediction. Warp charge 5. Select one enemy unit within 12 until the start of your next psychic phase. Each time that enemy unit makes a normal move, advances, falls back, or makes a charge, roll 1d6. On a 4 to 5, that enemy suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, it suffers a flat 3. And then its warlord trait is In your psychic phase, the warlock can attempt to perform this psychic action. If completed, you gain a CP.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'd take that.
That's ridiculous. What?
What's that?
It's got a range of 12, so...
Is this that malediction? It's horrible, isn't it?
So they teleport down next to you and just hit you with this. And then
if you move or do anything, you're going to take some mortal wounds.
Yeah. What?
If you charge,
to be honest, it's not that big a deal. Because, all right, even if he rolls absolutely spectacular and you take 3 and you lose a guy, that's annoying. But
Living Ghost, he's gone 3-0.
If he dropped down with a smite, he's going to do some damage. And that's going to be immediately. I don't think it's that good. I think it's more just going to scare you out of moving.
Yeah, he's going to want to get really up in your face with this list.
It's got a lot of combat ability, this. It's going to hit like an absolute freight train. That's why you take rapiers, because there'll be an obscene number of attacks. They can use a psychic power for even more attacks. And each one of those damage 2, and it's going to shred whatever they hit. But it's gone all swords, which surprises me. When I was writing lists the other day, I put a few halberds
we all know
in there.
that swords are inherently better. I mean, yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah, but remember, he doesn't get +1 to wound like we do.
Do they not?
No. So he's just going to be hitting you at strength 5. All right, that means he's wounding you on a 3 if you're one of your smaller guys, but it means that he's wounding your big stuff on 5s and 6s, you know? Sorry, 5s.
All right.
Swords are just better. It's fine.
I'm going to go to bed in a couple of minutes. I'm exhausted from those games today.
What time is your first game?
That's a very good point, because I was about to go set my alarm. Let me figure out what time the first game is. When
are you going to be doing your army list show tomorrow? I can't imagine.
If I am, I'll be doing it in the evening.
You'll come on for the army list show saying, I'd normally do the army list show here, but I've lost and I don't care. Or I'd normally do the army list here, but I've won and I'm just like drinking and celebrating. And yeah, you're all great, whatever.
Are we going to have another pissed back stream then? We haven't had one of those for a while.
Yeah, I know. I have to drive to this tournament, unfortunately. No. All right. So I get to... I'm probably still going to aim to be there for 9, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do like those falchions, Reziel.
Okay. Final thoughts then. If you guys are fighting this Grey Knight lists...
But only the big tank, not the little knives. They're for wusses.
If you guys are fighting this Grey Knight list, how are you fighting it? Like, what's your strategy? Are you going after the Dread Knights? Or are you just going to kill all the strike squads?
I'm going after those strike squads and that librarian. The Dread Knights are going to do a fair amount of damage.
Yeah.
But they're not, even if they start with the big hit, it's a D6 damage hit and you're -1. I'd try and get my Dreadnoughts into combat.
Remember, I only have one Dreadnought that has a close combat weapon.
But even those little guys, if you say he's got a strike squad and you charge your Contemptor in, he's going to be doing half damage to that.
Reziel, I'll sort you out a link to it separately outside of this stream, don't worry.
I don't think that it's going to be that much of a threat to the Dreads. They're going to be really tough against this. But yeah, I'd go after the strike squads, kill all his OBSEC. And remember those teleporty guys die just as easy as any other strike squad. But kill the strike squads, go for points. The characters are too tanky.
Okay.
What's the name of this event you're playing, John?
Brain fail. I need to go to bed. Scottish Takeover.
Okay.
Can't believe how much of a beast Caldor Drago is. I haven't really looked at him because he's got such a shit model.
Yeah, what do I pick for secondaries against Grey Knights? But take the Assassinate? I mean, it is worth 15 points.
Yeah, but 3+ invol save characters.
I mean,
with 7 wounds are going to take a fair old chunk of killing.
We'll kill them eventually.
You will kill them eventually. I mean, you're going to have to kill them eventually. But they are very tough. I think Assassinate's a trap in this list.
Bring It Down isn't going to be that much either. I can't take any of the psychic ones, unfortunately.
Bring It Down might work, because they're all 13 wounds, aren't they? How many's it got? 4 or 3?
Just 3, was it not, on a rhino?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Maybe he's picked that to make it difficult to pick against, you know?
I think he has, yeah. But I'm convinced the characters thing is a trap. He's trying to get people to pick Assassinate because they're the toughest things in his army are those characters.
Yeah, but some of them are shit, right? The Brotherhood Ancient.
No, none of them are shit. All right, the Brotherhood Ancient's shit because it's just an ancient. So you'll kill him off. You'll probably be able to kill the Librarian if it sits still long enough. Crow is just a 4+ with a 4+ invuln. Drago's just a 3, is the tough one, I suppose, or the really tough one. The Nemesis has toughness 6 with a 4+ invuln. They're hard to kill. So 3 of the characters are going to be absolute bastards to kill.
Yeah.
Rez, there's a link in your Discord, dude.
Okay. I guess if I'm playing against the Sisters list, I'm probably going to end up... Probably both those lists are going to be Oath. Homers,
yeah, definitely Oath, I think.
Bring It Down.
I'd go kind of maybe Engage.
Abhor the Witch. I know you've got a Librarian.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
Engage in all fronts might work well against the Grey Knights.
Yeah, maybe.
Data's probably your best bet.
They'll probably be playing for Engage themselves as well as Rod.
Yeah.
Given the servitors.
Yeah.
And you can run around and kill his servitors. Yeah, I reckon Engage, Data, and Oath. I think that's what I'd probably end up going with.
Yeah, I guess the big thing that I'm going to struggle with against the Grey Knights is I don't know how much firepower they put out. Do they put out the...
Not outrageous. They've just got Stormbolters, so it's a lot of really good anti-light infantry fire.
These Dread Knights must put out...
They do. Has he gone with the Psy Cannons on them? Heavy Psy Cannons, yeah.
They've got Gatling silencers and heavy Psy Cannons.
If it was me, I go full heavy Psy Cannons. I think they've got the best thing, me. But the heavy Psy Cannon is excellent.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
Let's try to find it. So yeah, heavy Psy Cannons, a heavy 6 gun, strength 8, AP -2, 2 damage.
Alright, so it's a Marine killer.
Yeah, but strength 8 means it does a decent job against vehicles as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much dreadnoughts with a -1 damage, but whereas the Gatling Psy Cannon I thought was a bit rubbish sorry, the Gatling silencer I thought was rubbish.
I mean, the 3 different big guns a Dread Knight has, they just go up and down and switch between what's good based on what edition you're in. It's fucking annoying. Yeah. You can't just...
The Incinerator's just a mega heavy flamer. Who gives a shit?
Kevinson.
Well, doing 2d6 now is better than a kick in the cock as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's strength 6, I suppose, but...
They all have the Psy Cannon and the silencer. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It gives them anti-horde firepower, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, against you it's not particularly good, but...
Thank you so much for your talk. I will try and retain some of this tomorrow. I feel like I'm a zombie, so I'm going to head to bed. I maybe set my alarm from like 7:20 to like...
Make sure you get a nice bacon sarnie or something to start you off with.
Give me 20 extra minutes of recharge. And then let's see how we get on. Thank you for joining us. Sorry if chat I didn't answer fuck all questions tonight. Maybe if we don't have to look at like 3 horrendous lists that I need to beat tomorrow. I really want to win this. I don't think I can, but I really want to try my darndest, you know?
Of the lists I've looked at, this last one was the toughest.
Yeah, you know what you're doing solidly against 2 of these 3 lists. The Grey Knights will be the potential.
Yeah, so let's hope the Sisters beat the Grey Knight. I mean, the sisters list actually sounds nastier with the mortal wounds and all the meltas and stuff.
I think
like
the
that.
sisters is better against the Grey Knights than you are.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
also
with
think
all that melters and
you're not going to predict
nastiness.
who's going to beat them because, given the names of the two players of the sisters and the Grey Knights, I suspect they're related, possibly brothers. So they probably play each other a lot. They probably know exactly what each other person does. So you may not be able to easily predict who wins the other game.
Yeah, so it's just going to be. Well, regardless, what
Yeah,
would
you
be
can't
very
influence it.
would be very cool if I could just win the one game and then finish the tournament playing on table one. I mean, that would be nice.
Yeah.
So that is the aim. If we get to there,
4-1 would be an incredible achievement to brag about. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean at that point, I think there could only either be there would be one player that went 5-0, and then there would be the two guys that went 4-1. I guess potentially. Yeah. So worst I could finish is third, maybe. So yeah, just have to win the first game tomorrow against the Scions, and then take it from there. I'll send some photos when I know.
Assuming you win one of the games tomorrow, the worst you could be is third. Yeah, otherwise you could be fourth at absolute worst if you lose both of these.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. I will message you guys tomorrow.
All right.
And for anyone that doesn't know, episode 2 of the Grox podcast is out with Tony and Mark, and it's awesome, right? The Grox podcast.
It's our best effort so far.
If people don't know about it,
for whatever that's worth,
then they need to know about it. And
we are currently scheduling for episode 3 to release on probably Thursday the 25th of November.
Yeah, and you can find us here on YouTube, 3 Grots in a Box.
And we're hoping to talk about something interesting with
the third subscribed. It's cool to subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Go get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to. It's become awkward.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.